Hi guys, welcome back, or welcome for the first time. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to be using some really cool products. Okay, this is Concord 9th Snow Flurry set and the coordinating die set. I'm going to be using both for this card. Both of these dies I got from scrapbook.com, and the stamp set actually is 50% off. I don't know if they still have it on sale, but they did at the time. It's only $10. Okay, now I'm also using Ranger's new mixed media embossing powders along with their holographic sparkle, and a Versamark marker, a Nuvo scooper, and Stampendous and clear embossing ink. And scrapbook.com, I forget, glass slipper, and my Wagner heat tool. Here's my combo. What I did was I cut the snowflake into 4 times. I didn't want to I did that off screen to save time. I don't want to make this a long video. So I cut it 4 times using watercolor paper, so it's nice and thick. Now I'm going to use this transparency instead of getting my work surface dirty. I keep these and use them all the time. Now watch, I'm going to put my snowflake down on there. I'm going to grab my clear embossing ink dauber. Now, I just want a side note. If you see that coffee filter blowing around, I have the fan on me. I'm going through some hot flashes, so that's why you may see that blowing around. So I put my snowflake on top of the transparency, and I just want to show you this powder. Now, it says mixed media powder, but you really can use this for anything. You can even use it for a sentiment. Not a fine, small, tiny sentiment, but a regular sentiment. You won't get that gold chunk effect on it because it's small, but you'll see what I'm talking about with the snowflake. This powder makes it look like it's an acrylic pour, if you've ever seen that. It's really, really, I am blown away by this powder. It's incredible. So I just laid down my first layer. I'm just heating that up, and the magic really starts when you use multi-layers. The first layer kind of just grabs the base coat, the light blue. This color is called C, S-E-A. I'll have everything linked below. And I'm just putting down a second coat. Now, while it's still hot, you can still sprinkle on the embossing powder. But what I had to get that extra snowflake that I was that extra part. See that chunk right there? That's the gold chunks inside the powder that melts down and it becomes like gold in there. It's beautiful. So now I'm moving it along, and I got to do that extra side, and I'm just laying down the ink. You can use a Versamark ink pad for this too. I just chose the dauber because it's easier to use and quicker. I can just put it on where I want it. Now you'll see here, once that's all good and melted, I have to tilt it so I can make sure the shine. Look at that. I mean, my God, this stuff is magical. It truly is magical. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. Now, Ranger sent me these products, but I only shoot videos for stuff that I love. I wouldn't, try to show you something if I really didn't stand behind it. Now, this next color is called Bone, and I'm just going to add it to the center of our snowflake here, just to give it, just a different color. I mean, I could have kept it all blue, but I wanted to add some bone color in there, which is kind of like a white, just to make it a little more fun. So I added my second coat of that, and I heated it a little bit on the bottom, and then I realized, well, I have 4 of them stacked, so it probably won't soak through too much, the heat. So I went again, and look at that. It's just so beautiful. Now the next step here, I'm going to add a little bit on the edges of the snowflake. I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle. I mean, the image is beautiful as is, but what snowflake shouldn't have a little shine or sparkle in it, right? So I grabbed the Ranger holographic sparkle. That has like a rainbow look when the light hits it. It's really pretty. I just added that to the edges of my snowflake. And I apologize for my band-aid there. I have a kitten, and he's been scratching me up. And I'm left-handed, so that's why my left hand is more chewed up because we've been playing. Okay, anyway, back to the snowflake. So I heated that up, and it's a little hard to see on camera, the sparkle, but it's there. To see it in real life, the snowflake is quite stunning. It looks like a high-end embellishment that you would buy, but in fact, it's just paper. It's incredible. So, moving on, I wanted to make my panel. So I used the Snow Flurry set, and this is where I used glass slipper, and it's a nice, light, cool blue, and I stamped it twice to make it a little bit darker, because it's really light, which I love. I love a light ink. So I stamp it twice to make it a little darker, and then I also added, in the white areas, I added in a tiny little snowflakes and the little dots that come in the set as well, just to fill in the white space with the same color. Okay. And then I trimmed it all down, and it's hard to see, but I added a light blue piece of cardstock onto my card base, just to frame it out a little bit. Now, this is where I'm going to finish the rest of the card. I lay down the snowflake, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to put this, and then obviously you can't stamp on it. So you got to use a die cut, or you can stamp something and then cut it out. I wanted to use die cut, so I chose the Sizzix Christmas Sentiment set. I'm not sure if it's set 1 or set 2. It's this one here. They have a lot of great sentiments, that are Christmas themed. So I chose Season's Greetings, and then I chose the inside of the snowflake, of the smaller snowflake die, just to put in between the two letters to break up the kind of the voided space in the blank space in the middle of the snowflake there. So I put some Versamark ink on there, and then I used that it's holographic sparkle by Ranger to add some sparkle to that. And I glued that down into the middle of my snowflake, right in there. And then I also wanted to mention, I also die cut Season's Greetings 3 times, and I glued them, actually two times, and then the top one I added together to make it, more strong. Once I had those down, I said, my sentiment looks kind of washed out. It doesn't look too good. So I added holographic sparkle to the bottom, and then I didn't like it. It still didn't stand out enough. So then I decided to go back to the mixed media powder in C color, and I added the Versamark, and I just the bottom parts of the letters, I just added that embossing powder to it to give it that dipped look. And I added that C mixed media powder to the bottom of the sentiment, and then I'm going to heat that up. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the word greetings as well. So you're going to see me getting my my tool nice and hot, and I'm doing the same thing, for greetings. And these Versamark markers are fantastic. I love them. I use this thing all the time, and then I often wind up squishing my nib, and I have to get another one, but I highly recommend the marker. So there's my finished card. And after it was all glued down, I put a gem in the middle, and I said, you know what, I don't like it. I ripped it off, and I decided to go with Nuvo Morning Dew. I'm sorry, not Morning Dew, White Blizzard. It's like a sparkle drops, and I put those in the middle. And then I said, I got to add my glossy accents to my letters. I do this pretty much, I think 100% of the time. I always add some glossy accents on there just to make it shine, and it makes it look nicer. So this card has quite a bit of dimension. I mean, the snowflake and now the sentiment. And this is, I forget the name of the color, but it's the Jewel Drops, which is drops with a hint of color. And I grabbed the light blue, and I put some drops on there, just random, I thought it would be a little bit more fun to add these instead of clear, which is what I use most often. But it just seemed to match, and it was a nice opportunity to get to use them. So Once I added those all down, I'm going to tap my card. These are a little thicker for some reason. I don't know why. Some are thicker than others, but I round it, tap it off, round it out, and that's it for the card, you know. I hope you like it. So it was a lot of fun to make, and really it didn't take long at all. It took me about 20 minutes to make this card.